Bitcoin and Co., the podcast about crypto economy and the future of money. Hosted by author and speaker Anita Posch.
Hello and welcome to this episode of my Bitcoin and Co. podcast. I'm happy that you're listening. You can find more details about this episode at www.bitcoincopodcast.com. Please subscribe to the podcast, share it on social media, leave a review on iTunes and recommend it to your friends. This supports the continuation of the podcast. The more listeners and subscribers, the more people gain knowledge about Bitcoin and Co. too. Follow me on Twitter at Anita Posch and subscribe to my newsletter to get updates on new episodes. If you like to support the podcast, you can become a sponsor or donate to the Bitcoin address you'll find on the website at www.bitcoincopodcast.com/support. Thanks for your attention. Let's start with the episode after this short message from our sponsors.
Start accepting Bitcoin, Dash or Litecoin for your business today with the Salomon Tech cryptocurrency payment service. The SX1801 POS terminal by Salomon Tech offers an easy system for you to accept payments in cryptocurrency absolutely risk-free and receive the exact amount in fiat, such as euro or US dollar, into your company account. Easy tax reporting tools and system integrations allow you to just go ahead with your business as usual. Sign up now with Salomon Tech and start the easy way to crypto pay. Find more information at salomontex.com. That's SALAMANTEX.com.
Today's guest is Robby Schwertner, also known as CryptoRobby. Welcome, Robby.
Yeah, hi Anita, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for your time. I'm happy that you joined. Let's start. Tell us a little bit about your professional background and how did you become CryptoRobby?
Oh, I've quite some years of experience. That's the matter of age. It's the time. I started my career after studying biology and also electrotechnics. I did a high school in electrotechnics. I continued working for an NGO, so I worked in refugee camps and in infrastructure relief aid. Later I was in the consulting business, worked some years in China, and finally ended up back in Austria with the Austrian Research Fund. I headed the Smart Cities City of Tomorrow program. It's a planning program, energy program, housing program, research projects. And there, 4 years ago, the topic blockchain came up because there was the idea to use blockchain for energy trading. It was at the very beginning that was Bitcoin was just the only really known technology. And that's where we had to look deeper into that technology.
And so that was the starting point for you to look into it?
For me, it was the starting point to understand or not understand in the beginning, totally not understand. And at first I thought it's a row of buildings, blockchain, a chain of blocks, I come from this business.
It's a chain of blocks.
Chain of blocks, of houses.
Nakamoto talked from a chain of blocks and not from a blockchain.
Yes, true, chain of blocks. And, but of course, fast I understood, very, very soon I understood it's a database which has a decentralized approach, which is nice and which can be used to, trade a lot of value on the blockchain in energy business, in mobility. One can use it in many ways.
Mm-hmm. And were there any projects that were realized then, that got
At
into real
this
life?
stage, it was a research program. And with research, it's always like this. It always takes minimum 3 times as long as you think it will take to the market. So research, it's science. It was really projects where we had test cases, or we had trials. It was risky, of course, and then the outcome was very unclear, but it was also lots of studies, so there's a lot of paperwork in research. That's usual. I mean, that's what universities often involved in Austrian or international research institutions, together with utility companies, energy utilities. But the beginning was just very, very very, how to say, simple, very, 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 just to identify that in general, can energy be traded over blockchain? Is the speed fast enough? And we knew from the beginning Ethereum would never work out fine because with this very limited transaction times, we can, but it was still a model to design faster blockchains in the future. Or what blockchains do we need? Which we have now. The Energy Web Foundation runs a Tobalaba blockchain now, and Siemens recently joined. So what has begun 4 years ago seems to get more standard today.
Is Siemens also in the Brooklyn microgrid project?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm sure that Siemens is in when Siemens enters a project like the Energy Web Foundation, to my opinion, that's the standard, future standard blockchain in energy, at least one of the standards. And it's European. That's really nice. Also, the centers in Berlin, they have excellent coders from Ethereum. So they took them in, brought some energy people, and now Siemens boarding. That is a sign that this technology, blockchain technology, is entering a new phase. So it's not about cryptocurrencies and trading, but we talk really about the technological side of that business.
Mm-hmm. So, and then coming back to your career, then you decided to get a full-time job in crypto.
Actually, 3 years ago, I really wanted to understand blockchain. It took me 2 years to really understand it. Yeah, I really have at least a slight idea of what hashes means, what the decentralization means, or what nodes, nonces, keys, and so on. All this vocabulary, which usually defines a new technology, a breakthrough technology. I decided at a certain point that I don't want to continue working for the Austrian government, but have my own freedom, my liberty, and being my own boss. So I founded a consultancy company. I do classical blockchain technology consulting, mostly token economics, business planning, but also I do influencer marketing for projects. I speak at conferences. I talk to podcasts like Bitcoin podcast.com from you and others. I blog a lot. I write a lot on LinkedIn. I have follow a crowd which follow my blogs and my comments. And I created the Return on Society hashtag. I had this feeling that the blockchain sphere was so much dominated by money. And it's sad. It made me really sad. I was disappointed because this technology is meant to be a revolution, a next layer of financial services, not depending on states and governments. Mm-hmm. But so that's how I came to also this new term on return on society, blockchain use cases which make sense, which have an added value to society.
Mm-hmm. Which are in the fields of like green energy, real estate.
Return on society first means it's not only a return on investment, that just the people who give the money to build some projects get the return, but also the customers and also people being not necessarily customer of a certain product, of a certain project. But this technology shall also be used that everybody can profit from that there is an added value to society. And I look for projects, and this is not confined to energy, mobility, financial service, but it has really everyday's life. When I go to the hairdresser, I want to pay, and then this payment should be in a way that not the banks get rich, but I use a system, a technology where I don't have to pay, like for WhatsApp. We don't pay much for WhatsApp now. It's a new way of how financial business can be tailored, and the mistakes of the history shall not be repeated again. And that's why that's why I focus on these projects. I really try to find them. It's hard on one hand side, and it's not, of course, confined to refugee programs which are necessary or banking the unbanked, but it's pure. It's also very daily life projects for even in developed countries.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and even in, let's say, the word developed countries, which we shouldn't use actually, but I don't know any better one.
Yeah.
I mean, you just mentioned WhatsApp, for instance. I mean, we don't pay, but we pay with our data, as we know. And there was another security breach at Facebook in the last week. And I mean, this technology also would allow us to exchange money in a decentralized manner without those intermediaries, so also without Facebook, which will also increase our privacy.
True.
So actually, there are lots and lots of applications, as you also say, which could help everybody. And I mean, last year it was all about who owns the next Lambo. I know that you and me, we're not in this. Yeah, so we are interested in the, as you say, return on society project.
Yeah, I mean, the Lambo made it important. I think it needs both. It needs this crazy crowd who really talks about it, believes that it makes you rich and very fast. Obviously, this was necessary to put Bitcoin to the next level, that at least it's realized by the masses. Because the question to me is how to reach the 99%. In Austria, there's a study 2 weeks ago. This was done by the Austrian Central Bank. Actually, I heard this number, 2% of the Austrians have traded cryptocurrencies. So there is still 98% who didn't. And so if you talk about Bitcoin and its fame and so on, we are living in this bubble as I'm part of this scene and you, Anita, are in this bubble. We have to find ways to reach the masses. This craze about it helps. But of course, after the craze comes the fear, the panic, which we see now, which is also good. It's also a feeling. It's a strong feeling. And this makes people think, oh, okay, this can go down again. This can lose value. It's not only it goes up, but there's a good learning. It's a good learning for the crowd. And wonderful. I love that. I really like that.
But actually, it's not about the value in euros or in US dollar. I mean, it's about the technology and what the possibilities we have from it, because as you say,
but technology to people outside
blockchain, they are not interested. They want to use things.
Boring.
Exactly. And I think that is what is needed in every space of this crypto space is trust.
Yeah.
To get trust again, trust and applications with good usability.
Yeah.
And that help people, because then they will use it.
Yeah, but I mean, now we see, what I see is we need blockchain use cases where we actually in future will not see that it's blockchain use cases.
Sure, yeah.
We will not think about the technology. We use internet now in every corner of our life, and we don't think, but when I call via Skype and not about the internet, how it works, is it decentralized or centralized? No, we will use this technology as we use our cooking stove and making a water boiler and dishwashing machine, probably washing machine. We will use that and not think about it. But for that, to reach that level, it needs a certain amount of investment to bring it to a certain level. When we think about the first cars, when the cars were invented, the first argument was, these cars are too expensive. The fuel is too expensive and it's stinky. The horses you can let out in the garden and on the field and the crop field. For the cars, you need a garage and so you need storage. In a lot of spare parts, hundreds of arguments. We see this with blockchain now. It's a lot of energy consumption. It's slow. It's still expensive, which is all true. Yeah. Bitcoin is very slow. Bitcoin, 10 minutes a block. Yeah. So I have to wait 10 minutes until my transaction it's not very practical when I go grocery shopping, paying with Bitcoins, waiting 10 minutes. No. Of course, there will be maybe solutions with Bitcoin or with other cryptocurrencies where we have that speed. But first of all, what is for me, and that makes me so convinced, and that's why I quit my job, I studied this thing, convinced me so much, is that I see the future of this technology. This bubble of the blockchain will not burst. It will stay, and it will have these wonderful use cases for the unbanked, for in energy, in supply chain, in mobility, in everyday its life. And that's where I see the future of this technology also in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Can you maybe give some examples of projects that have this positive vision and outcome maybe in the coming years?
Yeah, for instance, I work on mobility cases at the moment. I collect them. Just to give you a figure, I come from the real estate and energy business. In energy, you have approximately a very rough figure, but I found around 200 projects in energy business, different projects.
Worldwide.
Worldwide, yeah. And in a real estate business, you have maybe 300 projects, of which maybe in the meantime, and we talk, maybe 2 die every day. So because of the market situation, but still we have a number of hundreds. With mobility projects, we have less than 100. I found around 50 projects. Some of them already died, or is not sure the state. Some are halted. But there are some projects which are prospering. For instance, when we talk about mobility as a service, where we have really an app, an application, where I can book. I travel from point A to point B, and I go there, and I want these kilometers or miles as a service. And I have an app, and that they provide me with that. And I can use a plane, I can use a train, maybe somebody's going there, car sharing, maybe there is a rental car company wants to bring the car. And that's a use case where I think we have a chance that this could be a fast adoption, because we have Uber already in place, we have these digital platforms, and there it could continue. But I cannot tell this is a successful project yet. It's too early to say, that's the next big thing. But I feel at least that the direction what they are doing with this platform is the right thing. And we will save a lot of energy, by the way, with that. And it has a real, sustainability approach also.
I agree on this point exactly. Especially with Uber, for instance, because they have prepared the way that people are used to a kind of a sharing economy. But Uber is still a centralized service. But I think if the infrastructure is there, something like Uber could be disrupted easily, very, very fast.
Yeah, true. I agree. Yeah.
But what I understood, the platform you were talking about as an idea or a concept, I don't know, is like connecting all the dots, not only sharing cars or sharing drivers, but traveling from A to B with any vehicle.
Yeah. The problem is now I work with all the companies, which means my body would be covered with NDAs, non-disclosure agreements all over, which puts me in a position I cannot talk so much about it. Yeah.
Yes. Let's talk about the idea.
Yeah, the idea is manifold, but it is about mobility. It is about a way to find new solutions for the mobility sector, and there are car companies, there are governments interested, there is traffic management companies, there's of course financial services. So it's not one company who will solve that, but we look at that business at the moment. Yeah,
and they would connect on a base layer like a blockchain, or what would they? What's the
idea is to use blockchain in the first place, and that's the main point. When we say we decentralize everything and so on, we will at the moment. That's the mainstream idea in this blockchain field is let's decentralize the world because it's more. It brings more democracy. It has a new way of consensus finding and nice ways. But one cannot be naive because we have this communistic ideology, and the decentralization ideology is similar. I see it's over ideologized, how to put it like this. So the ideology, if it's too strong, maybe the real life is a bit different, and then this wonderful concept breaks apart. This could happen because we will see for sure decentralized systems will be re-centralized again. It could be that sometimes if we have to learn this still. We have not the perfect mechanism how to keep decentralized systems decentralized. Because when we have complete decentralization, that means that the behavior of people maybe is overestimated to be too good, that everybody contributes in a positive way. But if you have that problem always this to have the idea of taking over, which is, I think, also part. The human being is neutral. He can be good, she can be bad. He can be bad, she can be good. We can be all. We have the decision. Sometimes we are good and bad at the same minute, in the same minute. So the behavior is very unpredictable, and so behavior for such large decentralized systems is very hard to define, even mathematically perfectly proven. We could see that there are groups forming, and we see this with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has 3 mining pools worldwide, 3 large mining pools. So they cooperate together. It's not completely perfectly decentralized. Maybe that in the future it will be more decentralized. And there's also with Ethereum, 3 mining pools. EOS, the new platform, 21 block providers, also a kind of decentralization, but 21. It's not. Our Erste Bank, which is the largest bank in Austria, Erste Bank is maybe more decentralized than this EOS because they have more servers around. So it's a matter of how we look at these technologies and decentralization as such. But I think, of course, it goes into the direction more decentralization, but we shall not be naive. And this is what was happening when we start with mobility projects. We have to look, okay, is the decentralization part of blockchain the interesting one? Or is it a safe database? Because it has a cryptography aspect. You can use blockchain in a way that you store data very safely, that nobody has access. It has also another, is it just used to transfer some funds? Is it for what is the currency? Is it kilometer? Is it money? How would you decide? And these are lots of questions that you see. So we are really at the beginning of this exploration. But there's lots of ideas around in this space, and a lot of clever people too.
Before we continue our show, a short message from our sponsors. Thanks for listening, and we will be back soon.
Start accepting Bitcoin, Dash or Litecoin for your business today with the Salomon Tech's cryptocurrency payment service. The SX1801 POS terminal by Salomon Tech offers an easy system for you to accept payments in cryptocurrency absolutely risk-free and receive the exact amount in fiat, such as euro or US dollar, into your company account. Easy tax reporting tools and system integrations allow you to just go ahead with your business as usual. Sign up now with Salomon Tech and start the easy way to crypto pay. Find more information at salamantex.com. That's SALAMANTEX.com.
What do you think is the next bigger step in 2019, for instance, in the space?
The biggest step is, I would say, the first party is over, and it's headache. So it's headache. We all suffered. 2018 was a year of suffering. It's just how much can we suffer more to see the market decline, depression, another hack reported, another data breach problem, even the blockchain, so-called safe, secure blockchains field. As of course, it's the entry point, which means. So we will have the day after the party is over. So the next morning is really bad. It will be a headache. It will be, oh my God, where I am? What are we doing here? Is this blockchain just a psychosis? For a mass psychosis? Was it just erupted? And then will disappear? And here I say no. Blockchain technology will stay, I'm very sure. So we will see more enterprises entering the field, large corporations looking more thoroughly in that field. They will have a more structured approach. The projects will be better. I see already the quality increasing of projects, although there is no money. Investors don't invest. In China, 3 large investors yesterday reported, no, at the moment we don't invest in blockchain projects. For me, it's a good sign because that says maybe it's a good time to invest in blockchain projects. When too many say it's not a good time, maybe it's a good time. As also we can learn from Warren Buffett, by the way. He always said Bitcoin is a big hype and he doesn't like it and it's no value really. But two fintech companies of his, now he invested into fintech companies recently. So obviously there is an approach to this technology, even by these big investors which say officially this is all bullshit.
I don't invest in what I don't understand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Which is actually a good thing to do.
Maybe he should not invest too much in this sentence anymore. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, you just mentioned China. I think you worked and lived there.
I lived in China, yes. I worked 5 years, but I permanently lived 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you know...
I speak some Chinese, but I'm limited. But I can,
But what's the word for blockchain in Chinese? Is there a word?
There is a word. It's called... oh my God.
What do you know?
It's of course Tianxian and something, yeah.
I mean, you can tell me anything,
yeah, of course,
but maybe our listeners know.
Of course, oh my God, yeah, I should know.
So you're traveling there also quite often.
Yes.
What would you say? What are the differences in the blockchain space, in the projects and companies between Asia and Europe? Yeah. Because I guess you have a few,
I mean, if you talk about Asia, it starts from India, towards Pakistan, India, to Southeast Asia, the ASEAN bloc, and finally China and Korea. My focus is on Singapore. I work now also for a company based in Singapore. It's a fund. It's also a crypto fund. And also in China, I don't have projects at the moment in China, but ties to projects there. I bring them to Europe, and in Korea, South Korea. And South Korea, for instance, compared to Austria, 30% of South Korean workers owned cryptocurrencies. So in Austria it's 2%, in South Korea 30%. Traded cryptocurrencies.
Okay, they don't earn it for work.
So no. They trade it.
They just buy it and trade it.
They had it.
They're users. Yeah.
So it's more than 10 times more in percentage-wise than we have in Europe, probably. Mm-hmm. So there is a great interest in this new technology. The governments say in China and also South Korea to some extent were very clear. We don't want ICOs, so initial coin offerings are forbidden. You cannot finance your startup with a coin, but they very much support blockchain technology. In Hangzhou, that's central China, they invested $1.4 billion in a blockchain development center. So they push the technology, as they do in AI and robotics. They push the technology, but they're very clear about the financial part. They want still to be in control of the currency. And of course, in China is a big gambling country. Gambling for money is very common, also in Korea. So they're big gamblers. Maybe I kind of understand that they have a more careful approach when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But still, of course, these regimes like in China or these governments in China, which tend to take control of what's going on, they also want to take control of blockchain, of course. Yeah.
But owning crypto assets is not illegal in China, is it?
It's like a bit like cannabis in Europe. Yeah, maybe you can have it, but you're not allowed to buy it. Yeah. It's just a question how you got it. Yeah. It's similar. Yeah. So of course, lots of have still some cryptocurrencies because they bought before it was forbidden. Now they have it. They have this asset, and they try to find ways to trade it. It's hard for them to trade. There are ways. Bobby Lee, for instance, the first founder of the first crypto exchange, he explained ways that it's possible for them to trade, but it's kind of this gray zone of you shouldn't better be caught, so it's hard for them to trade.
And if you compare the startup scene in the blockchain space, is it more?
The startup scene is different because in the US, if I would put the US as the most startup friendly country where you really get funds easily. Also, there is this big Sequoia and other funds. In Europe, it's a bit less. You have this risk fund, but there are also large venture capital funds in China, and it's just a very young business. We have some startups, but usually they're linked to large companies. So that's a bit different. That it's not just people find themselves and then they have a good idea, they start a company. That's rare. In China, it's usually you have a strong company or boss of a company, usually elderly man with lots of money available. He invests in that company. The structure is different.
But if you look at the blockchain projects, where do those come from mainly? I mean, do you?
In financial sector, crypto trading, gambling, crypto trading.
Okay, that's big in Asia. But some things like.
But it's a contradiction because you cannot trade in Asia. So what they do, for instance, large crypto exchanges like Huobi is number 4 of crypto exchange, and KuCoin, and they all had to leave China. They had no chance. They were invited. That's what Bobby told me. Bobby Lee. He said, we were invited to the Minister of Finance, and they told us, yes, of today your crypto exchange. And they had quite a large volume of 1 billion or something.
In which country?
In China.
In China.
And they were invited. And today you have to close your business. And Bobby Lee said, yes. I said, thank you very much. And he went out and he knew it's gone, it's over. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Yeah. And so, but the focus is on China and Korea, especially Korea, has a strong gaming industry. So e-gaming is really popular, and gaming and cryptocurrency is very much linked because cryptocurrency is based on game theory. So this fits very much together, and that's how we also that's where we have a point where gaming on the one hand side, where you can earn points. And incentives, like for cryptocurrencies, you earn money when you mine, for instance, like Bitcoin, fits together. There's a linkage, and that's strong in these countries. And the big gambling companies, they are also supporting projects. We see that. Mm-hmm. That's a difference to Europe, where we have energy supply chain and more of these classical industry projects. And trading platforms. Yeah, they offer, that's what they offer, new trading platforms. And they're good. They know what they're doing. They're excellent engineers. I mean, their brains are as good as ours. That's for sure.
That's true, of course. So now you were talking about gambling and earning points. That brings us actually to the point of the word tokenization.
Yeah.
Do you maybe want to explain in a few words what is meant with tokenization and what you think we can do with that?
Yeah. Tokenization is something which, when I was a child, we always went mountain climbing, and then you slept in a hut, and there you got from the owner of this mountain hut a little coin. It was looked like a €1 coin. You could put it into the shower, and you could shower for 3 minutes. Yeah, so 3 minutes is not fast, but I will try to use this coin now, probably to explain a bit about tokenization. Tokenization is kind of similar to building a digital twin of something. We have the digital twin already in the machine building industry. What the digital twin in asset means is you could think of, for instance, having a building complex, many buildings of 100 million of euros, and that you tokenize kind of into 100 million of coins or token. This is a random example now, but sometimes this could make sense. If you think of this building at the moment, it could be for investors, you could just buy just small portion of that building. That's now complex. But the reason why this makes sense is just because the present system is not very intelligent. So in fact, this is a solution where the present system has some problems, and this is a slightly better one. Maybe it's not the best one, and maybe it doesn't make sense, and maybe one doesn't need not necessarily blockchain for this. We have McCoin, the McDonald's coin. They started this year in August. They offered a coin. One Big Mac is one coin. One Big Mac, by the way, is also a statistical unit. you can compare countries for prices. So interesting.
Like
they put the coin in, They put the coin on market. Interesting. Without any blockchain. They just put the coin. I think they tested the market. That's where I see also interesting that these large companies use the term coin and they know exactly what they're doing. It's not a funny coincidence. They were testing the market, and that tells me, okay, they are also exploring these big ones. And it's very likely that in future we'll see maybe some coins. The tokenization, just think of a road being tokenized. The value of the road is when I walk over that road and maybe use that road, I could also have to pay as a car, as a truck, and we are in road tolling business. So it's not completely stupid maybe if you have a tokenized street, which is kind of a digital copy and it has a value, and you go through that room, it's geofencing, with geofencing, then this could be just used for paying of mobility service, for instance. It's just an idea. Or I enter a room, I rent a room. We are here now in a room. We rent this room. You enter here with your mobile phone, and
you don't have to do anything.
You just enter, and it's the money runs. And by the way, this concept of streaming money was invented by Andreas Antonopoulos. It's from 2015. It's nothing so new. But nobody has tried it yet. We have to try different systems.
I think it didn't work until now because the micropayments were not really possible in Bitcoin now. I'm talking from Bitcoin, so Lightning will be the way for it. But
we will see whether Lightning will be the way for it. I'm not so sure, by the way. Maybe Lightning, Lightning means that there is a big damage afterwards. It's a flash. And usually maybe a cow or a person died or a house burned. With Lightning, maybe we'll see that too.
I was talking with René Pickard. He's he's not a developer really in the Lightning project, but he's very close to the developers. And so there's a podcast with René Pickard about the Lightning Network. I mean, he said to me it will take like 1 or 2 years until the Lightning Network is really so settled and working so properly good that it can start really going big. And coming back to what I wanted to say about micropayments.
1 and 2 years, I come from the research field. I say, multiply it by 2 and you still have to wait. For sure. The Lightning Network is a nice next layer on top of the Bitcoin, but I see big problems coming because at the moment it doesn't fully work. It's not working.
No,
we don't see whether really these expected scaling effects will take place, because what happens if too many channels, and it's a channel-based system. It uses Amazon servers. We don't know if you have a centralization again through the back door. We don't know that.
We'll see. I mean, also Bitcoin is not finished, and I think such systems are never finished.
Of course.
So we'll see. That was a great interview. Thank you, Robby. Is there something that you also want to mention, like your famous 5 minutes?
My famous 5 minutes. So I always have a dream that we really have blockchain projects which make sense, which is not just about making money, just getting rich fast, because this concept of getting rich fast, they are stupid. They're invented by stupid people, meant for stupid people, and usually they find themselves wonderful, and at the end it's even more headache. I'm very happy that we have this kind of crash now of Bitcoin, because it brings us to the real good project, which makes sense. And I hope that when I in future go out of this room now, Anita, after your podcast and Bitcoin and Co podcast, I go out, I have my coffee, I put my mobile phone there, my Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency is used, the coffee machine orders the coffee itself. It will be brought from a nice sustainable source, paid with wonderful coffee sustainability token. And then I enter the tram or metro, pay automatically with my cryptocurrency the kilometers.
Or with the Vienna token.
Vienna Austria token. And then I go home and enter the door, open with a blockchain encrypted door, enter there, maybe the computer is open. So that's a world I want to create, and I want one day I want to see that.
Yes,
that would be
I
nice.
hope that then, like in 5 or 10 years, we get back together into another podcast.
Good.
But I think even earlier we will do that.
Yes, in the meantime, we have coffee outside later then.
Exactly.
And pay in good old euro.
Yeah, great. So, where can my listeners follow you?
Yeah.
What are you working on, or what do you publish, and where can you read about your work?
Yeah, I have a strong profile in LinkedIn. There I have a lot of followers. It's Robby Schwertner or CryptoRobby. If you enter that, you find me there. I have a CryptoRobby.blog and CryptoRobby.com, ROBBY, CryptoRobby. That's me. And I thank you very much also, Anita. And I hope Bitcoin Co podcast will come out, and then we'll also have another chance to talk about the future, what I've said now, that when the dream has come true.
Exactly.
We'll take a while.
Exactly.
Lots of coffee.
We'll do that. No, I think there are so many developments in this space so that we can talk maybe next year again.
Yes.
So I'd be happy. Thank you for coming, and bye-bye. This was today's episode. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast in your podcast player, share it with your friends and family on Twitter or Facebook, and leave a review on iTunes or YouTube. If you consider to support the show, you can tip me in Bitcoin if you like. You'll find my Bitcoin address on the website at bitcoincopodcast.com/support. If you want to advertise your product or company, please send an email to hello@bitcoincopodcast.com. Thanks for listening and have a great day.
Audio editing and signation spoken by Katrin Eidenhammer. Idea and production by Anita.